Whitecaps were defeated 2-1 by the Rapids today at BC Place. Carl Robinson's thoughts in just a moment, as well as Rapids head coach Pablo Mastrani. Plus, we'll hear from, let's see if we might hear from some other guys in this segment, but a lot of other scores happening around Major League Soccer. Here's Simon Fudge to give us all the latest.
7 other games in Major League Soccer today and some big rivalries. And the Cascadia Cup season opener was a thriller. Portland Timbers 4, Seattle Sounders 4. Diego Chara for Portland had 2 goals, and so did Clint Dempsey for Seattle. Montreal Impact 2, New York Red Bulls 2. It was also 2-2 between Chicago Fire and Philadelphia Union. Trillium Cup action. Toronto FC got goals from Michael Bradley and Issa Nakajima Farah in a 2-0 win at Columbus Crew. It was DC United 2, New England Revolution 0. FC Dallas retained El Capitan, winning the Texas Derby 4-1 at Houston Dynamo. Javon Watson with 2 goals there. And Sporting Kansas City drew 0-0 with Real Salt Lake. Just one game tomorrow in MLS. It's the Super Classico, Chivas USA against LA Galaxy.
Thanks, Simon. Tonight's Barber Poll, brought to you by AnotherFineCut.com, is: what MLS team does Vancouver hate very much? Tweet us your thoughts with the hashtag BarberPoll at SoccerTalk650, Tyler Green FC, or on our Facebook page, facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan. Visit AnotherFineCut.com to learn more about where to get the best hot shave and haircuts in the city. Also, your chance to win a gift certificate to Another Fine Cut just by weighing in, just like Jay Nemec did. He says on Twitter, tonight, the Rapids. That's who he hates the most for tonight. And, well, the Rapids were a pesky bunch. But Carl Robinson, he spoke to the media following the match tonight. And here's what he had to say about, well, obviously the Matias Laba situation was really the sort of the turning point of the game as he got his second yellow card. Here's what Carl Robinson had to say post-match about that.
You could argue that is a yellow card, yeah. But if you're going on every decision that's made, if he misses a decision the first one, you can't penalise the guy on the second one. And that's, I think that's my gripe on it. I think, you shouldn't handle the ball, you're right. And if it's a yellow card, then it is a yellow card. But if he hadn't been fouled before, then he's definitely sending off. But I have seen it.
So obviously, by the letter of the law, handling the ball when the play is in action is a yellow card. So could the ref have ignored one if he missed one? I don't know.
Well, I've seen it happen before. I actually go back to the 2009 USL 1 playoffs between the Whitecaps and the Montreal Impact, where very famously Martin Nash got sent off for a studs-up tackle, and that kind of came from a situation where he actually got fouled a second before, and that should have been the situation that got blown down. Created a reaction situation. He got a straight red, changed the course of that final, and Montreal went on to win it very easily. It won't be the first and last time such a thing will happen. But, yeah, it is a very frustrating thing because you can go back, everybody can go back and see a replay in the stands and in the press box, wherever the case on TV, see that there might have been an infraction beforehand, but the one that happened afterwards ends up being the one that gets penalized.
Yeah, and you know what? I've always sort of thought about this as a player playing. I never pick up the ball unless I'm playing in goal. I don't use my hands to touch the ball unless I'm taking a throw-in. That's the only time. And it's a pretty simple rule to live by, and you're never going to get caught in that situation. Kevin Cairo won on Twitter saying, the team of MLS refs, funny how there was far less controversy with the scabs in action. And, he's kind of right. There was all the talk of, are they going to get it right? Are they going to get it wrong? Well, it seems like all the controversy is happening, and now that all the regular referees are back in action here in Major League Soccer. Carl Robinson, he kind of went political then a little bit later on in his post-game comments, talking about how, well, you kind of win or lose as a group, and it's not really Matias Laba's fault.
We win as a group and we lose as a group. Today was our first loss, but it's important that we bounce back the correct way, and we're going to have more losses throughout the season. I've got no doubt about it. It's a tough one to take, especially at home, because we were 1-0 up, and obviously maybe the turning point was Pedro went through, and the keeper made a great save, and there was only one team going to win it at that point. But things always don't go your way in football sometimes.
we've talked about this in weeks past, where especially about David Osted, where the Whitecaps have needed that one big save to really save them from games. And we saw it in Chivas, and we saw it in New England as well, but David Osted comes up and makes a very big save, and you would think that that could help turn the tide for your team. And Clint Irwin comes up and makes a huge save, gets a piece of it on Morales, who talked after the game about how the ball was bouncing a little bit, couldn't really get a very good shot off, but nonetheless, Irwin makes the save, keeps the score at 1-0, and it's that classic goalie makes a big save, regardless of what sport it is, turns around the other team, and yeah, they were up a man now at this point to tie it, but it gives Colorado that little bit of belief that they can get it done, and they got it done.
Yeah, they did, and I think in a lot of ways the game, even at 1-0 to the Caps, was still in the balance there, and much credit to Clint Irwin for making that so, because if they had gone and conceded then, it was shortly after Maddox had given Vancouver the lead. I don't see how Colorado would have gotten back into the game. If you look at the way they capitulated last week at home to Kansas City, having been 2-1 up and to lose 3-2, the heads probably would have dropped at that point. So a very reactionary type save. He had to be in the right place at the right time, did Clint Irwin, but was just almost as pivotal. You could almost look at it as much as you could look at the second yellow card to Laba as being one of the key moments, if not the key moment of the game.
Yeah, huge save for him, and the Whitecaps had chances to try to put this game out of reach and just couldn't do it. And yeah, they're not going to score 4 goals after in every home game or every game at that point, but they still need that killer instinct to put teams away, and they just didn't have that today. But over in the Colorado Rapids locker room, Simon, you went into that locker room and obviously pretty ecstatic about the victory, and their head coach Pablo Mastrani talked to the media after the match and gave us his thoughts on what happened with Colorado and the Whitecaps from earlier tonight.
Yeah, I think it was a hard-fought contest. I think there's times where we were on the upper hand, but there's obviously times, especially in the second half, where Vancouver was pushing the game, and they got a good opportunity and scored with it, and then had another chance late, or right after that, the first goal there. And so we weathered some storms, and credit both teams. I think it was a battle, and I think the guys in that locker room fought really hard and found a way to win. And this is something that we've been talking about all preseason, all the beginning, is finding ways to win. You can't coach that. That doesn't go on a whiteboard. That's found in the spirit of the group and the guys on the field.
Where did the game change? Did it change on Laba's second yellow card, or did it change on that fantastic goal by Jose Mari?
I think it's a combination of both. I think it's really difficult to pinpoint a moment. This game is all about ebbs and flows. I'd like to think that Jose Mari's goal boosted the group, being our first goal from the run of play, his first goal in the league, probably his first shot, and I think it gave the group a whole lot of confidence moving forward. Having said that, Vancouver, they had some chances as well. So this game is a really tricky game, and I think I go back to the mindset, and I think for me that's the most important part, is never giving up. We could have easily been down 2-0 and find ourselves on the other side of the score sheet. So it's a crazy game, and just excited to be where we are.
Just recently signed Jose Mari, and what does he bring to the? I mean, we've seen a little bit of what he can do. What do you think he brings to the team during the course of the season for you?
Well, he brings a wealth of experience from having played in Europe for all these years. But as we started building this team, started looking at players that can really move the ball quickly, and has a great sense of spacing from the offensive standpoint. And also he's a guy that likes to get mixed in and tackle and win balls, and he's your all-around complete six, and a guy that we're delighted to have him around. And more importantly, it's the aura that he gives to the other guys on the team. His comfort on the ball allows other people to be comfortable on the ball. Always an outlet, always looking for the big pass, short pass. Just a wealth of experience. And the most important part for me is his character. Just a great guy to have in that locker room. And again, I think those are the kind of guys that you want that will persevere over 10 months in a long season like the MLS.
You were appointed formally as head coach right then the season began, so now you're a few games in. And what is it like feeling as a coach after being a longtime player in MLS as U.S. international?
I tell you what, it's been a roller coaster, to be fair. I don't, I wake up in the middle of the night thinking, things that we're going to talk about this week in training and writing things down, and it's just completely consumed myself, my family, my friends. And I think for me professionally, it's looking at the game from a different perspective, a teaching perspective, and one that I think requires a lot of trust from both the coaches and the players. And it's something that I've always wanted to do. Again, I'm extremely excited to be leading the men in that locker room, the type of characters, and enjoying the ride for sure.
Clint Irwin, first start of the season today. How do you think he did? He had that huge save from Morales.
Listen, Clint, I think, had a few big saves in that game, but more importantly, I think he brings a lot of confidence to that back line. His presence, his ability to communicate, his distribution today was excellent as well. Just a class goalkeeper, and another pillar of this team that we're looking to build on. And I think tonight, he showed his worth and really deserves everything that the game gave him for his performance and keeping us in the game at the right times. So extremely excited to get him back out there and looking to build on this performance.
Clint Irwin, big part of the game, and we'll have to maybe ask Christina, our executive producer, where he ranks in the all-goalkeeper team. She has an affinity for goalkeepers, so we'll have to find out where he ranks in the top 10 ranking of where he is in the starting 11 of goalkeepers for Christina, the executive producer. Which MLS team does Vancouver hate? Your thoughts on Twitter at SoccerTalk650 or our Facebook page, facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan. Justice Paladin, TFC because it's Toronto, FC Dallas because they're dirty, divey, see you next Tuesdays, and he respects those Canadian rivals. Ian Allen gives us his top 10. Number 1 being Montreal, Toronto number 2, Seattle number 3, Portland number 4. The list goes on and on. Dallas, Galaxy, Real Salt Lake is 7 and 8. That equals like 15. I don't know. Chivas, New York, he's got quite a few there. But Montreal he's got a great deal of venom for Montreal. And we'll get a little bit more in that a little bit later on in the program. A quick look at the Fantasy Premier League, brought to you by Umbro Canada. Well, the big Lewandowski was named the big winner in March with his team name. He picks up some new Umbro gear from our friends at Umbro Canada. It's pretty simple to be, it was pretty simple to have a good name to win it in March. It's probably even easier to be the big winner in April. You've got 4 shots to do it. All you need to do is have the biggest single week score in the fantasy league. Somebody I think right now is sitting at 73 points. Christina is sitting, who was in the Whitecaps suite tonight for her performance in the fantasy league last year. Got a pair of suite tickets tonight, but the biggest single week score in the fantasy league for the month of April will win you the Umbro gear. Hit our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan. It's got all the latest details on how to be that man, how to be that winner. Thousands of dollars in prizes available, including tickets to the Canada versus Japan women's match. At the end of the year, there's Canada jerseys, track jackets. Umbro is the name worn by top players and teams worldwide. Those same uniforms are available for your team or club at umbro.com. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of Canada's men's and women's national teams, celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros. Umbro.com. Umbro, the heart and soul of football. Umbro, proud sponsor of the Fantasy League for Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk. It is a quick stoppage in play here. Kia Vancouver is the #1 retail Kia store in BC last month, selling over 70 new Kia vehicles. to tons of local soccer fans, me included, a new Kia Sorento that I'm driving around. You can be next. Visit KiaVancouver.com or visit them at 396 Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon. Up next, we're going to get the latest headlines from around the globe, brought to you by Uniglobe One Travel. Plus, how does it feel, Andy O'Brien, to lose this one? And Jose Marie, he was a little bit excited. We'll hear from those two players right after the break.